We've heard a lot over the years, the problems at Urgence Santé, potential strike here, there, but then we're finding out now that paramedics in this province, that's 3,300 of them, are now on general unlimited strike after being without a collective agreement since April of 2023. Want to try to understand more what it means, because, of course, the first question that comes to mind is what will this do in terms of, impact to the public? So Charles Duff Murdoch is a paramedic union representative at the CSN. He is on the line. Mr. Murdoch, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let me begin by asking, first of all, I guess, what the main issue is. Now, you've been without a contract, as I said, since the end of 2020 or the middle of 2023. Is that the main sticking point here? What are you looking for?
Not so much. It's, just like everybody else in the rest of the healthcare system, I don't need to remind your listeners that with the inflation, everything's been really tough. And no, we've been trying to negotiate with the government, but unfortunately, they don't seem to take us very seriously, and we feel a little disrespected, honestly. I can give you a few examples of that.
Okay.
It's for the first time since 1984 that paramedics have actually been offered a pay cut on our current salary. I don't need to remind you that a few years ago, we were considered their guardian angels, and now all of a sudden we're not even worth what they're paying us right now, according to the government. So that's one of our big issues.
Let me stop you for 1 second. I'm trying to understand when you say a pay cut, because I hear what the government is doing in the education system, right, where they went from yearly raises of, say, 7%, now it's down to 5%. And the government's excuse, if you will, is that it's not a pay cut. We're just asking you to do a little bit more with less. For you, is it the same? What are you looking at in terms of dollars and cents here?
To answer that, I actually have to take you back to our previous work agreement where we negotiated that in 2022. The paramedic asked for our tasks and our pay scale to be reevaluated. Now, at that point, negotiations were dragging along. We had, much like this one, we had already been 2 years into the negotiations, and things weren't really moving along too much. So what the government said is that the reevaluation process is very long, but that it would offer us a temporary pay raise that they thought would best reflect our eventual pay scale once the reevaluation task was done, which we accepted. Now, a few years later, the reevaluation is done, and wouldn't you know it, they've determined that even with all kinds of new medication, all kinds of new tasks, and a whole bunch of new equipment that we're using, it's still not enough to warrant that initial pay increase that they're giving us. So what that means is we're bringing us back to now, as opposed to starting at the goal line, we're actually starting 4 or 5 steps back.
Mm-hmm. As I hear you say this, my first thought is this to do with Santé Quebec? You mentioned health cuts across the network. We've all heard those stories. Do you take this to be part of what's happening with all this, the billion or whatever dollars that has to be saved? Are you part of that, do you think?
I mean, hard to say. I'm sure it has something to do with it, because the main thing that keeps coming back is that they keep cutting everywhere, mm-hmm. right? I mean, in the offer, they're cutting on our pay. They're cutting in our incentives that we had because of our workload. They're reducing the contributions that they had towards our pension plans, but they're asking us to do a whole lot more work and up our workload. Bring more people to the hospital faster, mm-hmm. spend less time there. So it's take, but ask more of us.
And give nothing. Let me ask, and I mentioned Urgence Santé off the top. Can you explain, I mean, when we say paramedics, we're talking about Urgence Santé, a specific group within Urgence Santé? What's the differentiation there?
Not necessarily, no. I mean, we're the paramedics that are all on strike as of yesterday are all affiliated with the CSN. I mean, Urgence Santé, they are the biggest one, so it's hard not to talk about paramedics without talking to them, but everybody seems to be in the same situation.
So, and when I said off the top, obviously when the public hears that paramedics are now on strike, the government obviously makes you provide services. So what are people looking at if they're calling? Can you expect delays? Like, what are the ramifications of this?
No, absolutely not. No, I mean, I want to reassure everybody that's listening that there's absolutely no impact related to if you call 911 today, we're going to be there, and there won't be any extra delays related to the strike. Our strike tactics are a lot more administrative. They're going to have an administrative impact because as you said, I know the population of Quebecers all over, they've had a pretty rough go, and we don't want to necessarily take them as hostages between us and the government. Our problem is with the government. I want the population behind me with a hand on my back saying, that's it, we have your back. So paramedics, as of yesterday, are going to do a lot less paperwork, essentially. So we're not going to do any more billing. We're not going to do registration at the hospitals for the patient. Any and all information related to the patient that the paramedics have are not going to be handed over to their respective companies, except obviously for any and all medical related conditions there, because we don't want to have a negative impact on that. And we're also going to have supervisors. We're going to take them out of their offices, and they're going to be doing ambulance just like us.
So it kind of sounds to me like basically by not doing that paperwork, or by making it, I guess, or move as slowly as you're going to, this is supposed to hurt the government because people won't be billed. That money won't be coming in. Am I understanding that right?
Yeah, exactly. We're just trying to put pressure on them to kind of say, listen, we understand that there's a work shortage and that we can't make employees, pop out of thin air. But if you want us to do more work, the pay has to come with it as well.
Okay. I'm trying to understand, pardon my ignorance, I apologize. With respect to paramedics, and I brought up Urgence Santé, when do I come in contact with a paramedic? I mean, if I have an issue or there's been an accident, I'm dialing 911, Urgence Santé is showing up. So where do the paramedics come into play?
Oh, well, that's it. Well, the ambulance is going to come depending on how they decide the priority is for your medical emergency. And that's it. As opposed to in the past, us kind of just dragging you inside the ambulances, driving as fast as we can to the hospital, we're going to stay on site and we're going to stay in play, as we say. We're going to evaluate your situation. We're going to treat you the best that we can, whether it be with medication, with medical equipment. And from then on, we're going to bring you to the appropriate hospital that's going to be able to take care of your problem as well. So Once all that is done, we'll be able to drop you off at the hospital where you'll be best taken care of.
So if I can, I hate to keep expounding on this, but that being the case, you're describing the function here. Are the people at Urgence Santé supporting you then in this? Because you seem to have, it's integral to what they do, what you do.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's why, us just coming into work on strike, dropping our keys on the floor and saying, figure it out, was absolutely not an option for us. It completely goes against everything that we stand for as paramedics, where we're here to help people, and that's what we want to keep doing. It's just right now with the government, it's very difficult to do what we do right now, feeling so disrespected. They want to take away some of our pay, and they just want us to keep doing more and more. Mm-hmm. So it's difficult to keep on going under these circumstances.
Yeah. Sadly, sounds like a familiar situation here in the province. When we talk about public sector unions, I will ask you, in terms of negotiations, is there some hope here? I know we didn't have a statement from anybody within the government today, but what are you seeing? Is there some kind of movement here?
I do know that they have some dates where they do have to get together and negotiate. The whole idea with us starting the strike is to try and put a bit more pressure on them. To me, I feel like it would be in both our positions, both interests, both the government and the paramedics, to get this resolved as fast as possible too. Just because, as we all know, there's an elective year coming up soon, and this is essentially this government's last opportunity to really show the rest of the healthcare system as well how they really feel and how much they value their employees. And right now, we're getting quite the opposite.
All right. I wish you luck. I think everyone else does as well. Thank you so much for the time.
Perfect. Thank you for having us.
Charles Duff Murdoch, paramedic union representative at the CSN, asking them to do more with less. Where have we heard that before in the healthcare system?